is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Tamir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Amadeus.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Amadeus.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to the original Queen MDC show. I'm your host, Queen MDC, and this is your daily vitamins, or shall I say your nightly vitamins. Okay, let's get ready to get into it because Diddy is accused once again. Okay, so as you're coming in, please feel free to like and share this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay. So now with that all being said, let's see who's in here. Okay, Cat Eyes, we the people. Miss J, Juju B is here. Said the Queen is queening. Thank you. Luna is here. Okay, shout out to my moderators putting in work. Claudette, the classic one. Okay, G from the land. Desmond is here. Anita Harrell. All right, Junior, I see you. Deronda. Okay, so let's get into it. Shout out to all of my loyal royals and everyone tuning into the Queen. You guys, let me tell y'all something. King Pisces, Nathan is in here. Lewis Kendrick. Okay, Pensy Lola. Let me tell y'all something. Oh my Lord, I was watching that video, that interview with Kamala on Club Shay, and when I tell you it put me out like a light, literally put me out like a light. I was asleep. And when I woke up, I was talking to someone else and they told me they just woke up from watching. This is all nefarious. Okay, but we'll talk about her in a minute. But let's talk about Diddy right now. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Hold on. Let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes before we get started. Okay, here we go.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so don't forget you can purchase your 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Look for Lisa Crafts, and you can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so now let's not forget that earlier they were talking about the agencies, all of these different agencies being at the jail where Diddy is being housed, saying that they were there because of all of the myriad of complaints and all of that, right? Okay, so let's go to that because I told you guys I will go back to it. Hold on, let me see what they got going on here. Hold on, beloveds. I'm looking for a shorter version of it. They have like an hour. I'm not trying to scroll through this. Okay, so we'll go back to that, but let's talk about Diddy being accused of a 10-year-old. Okay, this supposedly happened in 2005. Sean Combs accused of assaulting 10-year-old boy, okay, a 10-year-old from Los Angeles in a new lawsuit. So in 2005, the parents of a 10-year-old from Los Angeles sought help for their son's burgeoning career and flew with him to New York to meet people in the music industry. Sean Combs told a consultant that the family hired that he wanted. Oh, he told the consultant that the family hired that he wanted to meet with the boy alone, according to a new civil lawsuit filed in New York on Monday. First of all, what is it with these people always wanting to meet with these kids alone? And the parents never get suspicious or think that's a bit strange. So in a hotel room, the plaintiff performed several rap songs. Okay, so he took a 10-year-old to a hotel room alone. Hold on, this stuff is starting to sound real crazy. Okay, this is all starting to sound real crazy. What do you all think about this? So you mean to tell me, Pencil said Queen hot off the press. Okay, thank you. You all mean to tell me
that parents let their 10-year-old go to a hotel room with some strange man, because even if Diddy was famous or not, they didn't know him. They just got to New York. Okay? And the parents and the consultant didn't think there was anything strange about this. Let me continue. And so it goes on to say, in a hotel room, the plaintiff performed several rap songs for Combs, who told the boy, who is referred to as John Doe in the suit, that he could make him a star. Combs asked, and first of all, why would you be having this conversation with a 10-year-old? I would think that you'd be telling the parents that. Now, Combs asked plaintiff how badly he wanted to be a star and what plaintiff would do to be one. Plaintiff responded, as might any 10-year-old child, that he would do anything. At this point, according to the lawsuit, one of the other people present gave the boy a soda, which made him feel a little funny. And so another plaintiff consumed his soda and began feeling its side effects. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. My phone is chiming. Somebody's returning text. But anyway, goes on to say, after plaintiff consumed his soda and he began feeling its side effects, then Combs told plaintiff to move closer to him, which plaintiff did. Now, Combs then abruptly pushed plaintiff down and said words to the effect of, "You have to do some stuff you don't want to do sometimes," according to the lawsuit, which then goes on to describe an alleged assault. The incident was alleged in one of the two new suits filed against Combs on Monday. Now, in a separate civil suit, Combs is accused of assaulting a then 17-year-old male who was auditioning for the reality show Making the Band, under the guise of questioning how the teen would handle situations involving sexual pressure. So the lawsuit says that Diddy, during a 3-day audition, groped and fondled the teen while he emphasized his point, or his power, to control plaintiff's future in the music industry. Now, during a second interview, Combs instructed plaintiff to undress, explaining that plaintiff needed to demonstrate the ability to embody an sex idol persona, which was purportedly required for the band's image. Okay, now this encounter also escalated into Combs forcing the plaintiff to perform oral on him. On the third day of the audition, Combs allegedly forced the plaintiff to perform the same thing on his bodyguard. Now, when the teen hesitated, the lawsuit says that he was eliminated from the competition, with Combs claiming that plaintiff was untrustworthy due to reservations to perform this oral thing on the bodyguard. Now, the lawsuits were filed by Andrew Van Arnsdale, and Tony Busby, the same attorneys who have said they're evaluating claims of more than 100 alleged victims of Diddy's. Several have already been filed in recent weeks. Now, ABC News has reached out to Combs' attorney for comment on the latest two lawsuits. Combs has denied the allegations against him. And in an October 15th court filing, defense attorney Mark Agnifilo and Teeny Garagos described allegations made by anonymous plaintiffs as spanning from false to outright absurd, and called for them to be identified. Now, Combs, who was arrested last month on sweeping trafficking charges, has pleaded not guilty in the case. As part of his defense, Combs' attorney has asked the judge to order federal prosecutors to disclose the identities of the accusers. Okay, so now that's what I want to know from you guys. What do you all think about the accusers not being named? What do y'all think about that? I think these people need to be named. Now, that's just my opinion. I think these people, but that's just me. KB said Diddy has got to go. Oh, he's going. Miss J says Diddy was doing the most from coast to coast, shaking my head. Okay. Pizzolota said, name these diabolical demons. Fraudette said, yes, I agree. Yeah, and as far as the diabolical demons that you're talking about, I assume you're talking about the other people who were involved. And I absolutely think that they need to be called out too, not just Diddy. If Diddy was doing all of this stuff and people were helping him and aiding and abetting, these people need to be called out. But you see, the thing is, these people, they've taken deals lightly. These people have flipped on Diddy. They've taken deals, and that's why Diddy's the only one that's being prosecuted. Everyone else is likely going to testify against him, whether it was bodyguards, whether it was the chief of staff, Christina Coram, all of these people, Brendan Paul, they've all taken deals already, I'm sure. Okay. Now, let's talk about this interagency operation that went on earlier today, because I have my own theories about that, which I'm going to tell you after we watch it. And so, likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Let me just pull this video up. Okay, here we go.
Jail or prison is expected to be a five-star hotel. We know that, but it's not supposed to be a house of horrors either.
Yeah, the troubled and violent Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, housing Sean Diddy Combs, raided by the feds today. They're investigating poor conditions, rampant drug smuggling, mounting violence, and repeated inmate deaths.
Eyewitness News reporter Darla Miles live at the scene in Sunset Park with what's really going on there. Darla.
Well, Bill, the Bureau of Prisons will only say this is an interagency operation to maintain a safe environment. But sources tell ABC News that inmates are not the target, and attorneys who've been seeing clients here for years say the timing is very curious.
None of these issues are revelations that all of a sudden, oh my goodness, we need to go and address them.
Early Monday morning, staffers at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn met by dozens of federal agents and drug-sniffing dogs in search of any illegal items being smuggled inside.
One is left to wonder, is it the publicity, from those of notoriety, those well-known that are trying to get out of there?
I'm going to try and minimize the amount of time he spends in very, very difficult and I believe inhumane housing conditions.
Sean Combs and crypto mogul Sam Bankman-Fried are currently being held at MDC in Sunset Park, but it's where other high-profile inmates like R. Kelly, Michael Cohen, Fetty Wap, and farmer bro Martin Scarelli were lodged at one point in time.
There is constant violence. I have with me right now memo after memo after memo as to lockdowns. I can't tell you how many times I go to visit a client and I'm turned away because there's either an emergency count or there's an emergency lockdown.
In September, 9 inmates at MDC were indicted for violent crimes, including 2 murders inside the facility. 7 staff members have been arrested on a range of crimes, from accepting bribes to providing contraband, in the last 5 years. And just 2 weeks ago, federal prosecutors announced a Queens murder-for-hire plot that was orchestrated from inside of MDC using an illegal cell phone that was captured on surveillance video back in December 2023. And in 2019, the Department of Justice sought an investigation into a power and heat outage at MDC that lasted more than a week in the dead of winter.
I visit clients at other federal facilities, and I don't see this.
Now, this interagency operation could last for several days. Reporting live in Sunset Park, Darla Miles, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, so let me tell you guys what I think is going on. Now, mind you, I can't substantiate this. This is merely speculation. This is just something that I was thinking. Okay. Now, I find it all very strange that the nefariousness that allegedly goes on in this jail has been going on for years. And they've not ever had an interagency operation where multiple agencies come in there. Now, I need you all to put on your critical thinking hats. I'm going to tell you what I think is going on here. I think that they're in there scoping out the place. They're looking around. I think they're looking to see where all the cameras are and things like that. I think this is their way of finding out how they can get to Diddy. Because I really think there's some people who want Diddy to turn up like Epstein. This is what I think. Why would all of a sudden, while Diddy's there, they're all swarming over the place? It's going to take days. What are they there to find out exactly? If they already have all of the reports of these things going on, then the resolution would be to fix it, to fix the problem. Why would all of these agencies have to come in there like they're conducting a whole investigation when they already know what's going on? Okay, so with that all being said, I think this is a way to try to get rid of Diddy. And let's not forget that Sloan Bella said they were going to stitch Diddy's mouth shut. And he wouldn't be able to say anything because she said there's a hierarchy. And those other people that are above him, they don't want them to go down, in which that's the same thing I told you before Sloan Bella even said it. That at the end of the day, these big time people like Clive Davis, Lucian Grange, and so on and so forth, these people, do you think they're really going to go down? Well, I doubt it. Some of these people may even have been some of the people named on Jeffrey Epstein's list that no one ever saw because the judge sealed it once Jeffrey Epstein was dead. With that all being said, I think it's something more sinister going on here. I don't think this is about the people turning up dead in the prison, the supposed drug smuggling or drug use that's going on there. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think they're there to see how they can get Diddy done. Okay. Now, this is just my opinion. I could be absolutely wrong, but then again, I could be absolutely right. It's just the theory. Okay. This is just my hypothesis because I just find it all very strange and interesting, the timing of it all. And please pay attention to how they are so desperately fighting to keep Diddy in jail. Okay. They're really trying to keep Diddy in jail. Okay. Goodness Rated Bo said Trump used to party with Epstein. Yes, he did. And Kabami used to praise him. I showed the footage this morning of Trump at the parties, and I showed the video of Kabami praising him, her and Van Jones in 2020. Now, how long ago was Trump at those parties? And here's the thing. Diddy had said himself one time, if memory serves me correct, that Trump never stayed at the parties because he didn't really drink. Okay. So anyway, aside from all of that, let's not make this about Trump or Kabami because we're going to talk about her in a second. All right. I really think Trinity Love said jail is a good place for Diddy. Well, of course it is. Okay. Pentelola said, I can't believe people think Diller ain't in jail. Oh, he's in there. He's definitely in there. The question is he gonna walk out? Is he gonna walk out of there? Or is there something strange gonna happen? And then they say, well, he did it to himself. I have a whole lot of questions. So just pay attention, beloveds. Please pay attention because, like I said, that's just my theory. I don't know exactly what they're up to. Now, for those of you that missed the morning broadcast, please go back and watch because I talked about the nefarious chakra bursting that Diddy has been engaging in, allegedly been engaging in, as far as I'm concerned. And I did a TikTok about it, but I'm going to share the screen for those of you who missed it.
Was violating people even. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. MDC. Now we've heard all the stories and allegations against Diddy, and we've heard how he was violating people, even men. At the end of the day, he was violating them from the back door. And there's a very specific reason why Diddy was doing this. Okay. He was bursting their root chakras, and this is how he was harnessing their power. So let's get into it. Now, the root chakra, or Muladhara, is the chakra that's located at the base of the spine, and it gives us the feeling of safety and security. Now, when the root chakra is violated, it becomes imbalanced or blocked. And this can lead to feelings of a lack of vitality and trauma and also insecurities. And of course, these feelings are exasperated by trauma. And that would mean someone raping a person from the back door. Okay, please read between the lines. It's only so much I can say. Now, trauma to the root chakra can leave a person feeling restless or lacking energy, leading to anxiety, worry, panic, depression, frustration, resentment, or anger, feeling threatened or like you don't belong, okay? Low self-esteem, poor focus, or disorganized thinking. Now, think about the people that have accused Diddy of all of these things. These people have said that they have had a lack of intimacy. They have not been able to have healthy relationships. They've suffered from depression and all of these different things because that's what happens when someone disrupts the root chakra, specifically when someone is viciously assaulting you, okay, from the back door. Okay, again, please pay attention. At the top of the kidneys, there are adrenals, which produce several hormones, including adrenaline, okay, which stimulate the fight or flight response. Now, this ties directly to the root chakra survival drive, and this chakra is also associated with the gonads in males. So the root chakra is the foundation for our body's energy. Now, all of the chakras are energy centers, but the root chakra is the foundation of all of that. So if someone's traumatizing or violating the root chakra of a person, they're able to harness that person's energy, the power, the very essence of the person's being. And it makes them stronger and, in fact, keeps their root chakra open while closing the victims. And as it closes, this is why the person suffers this trauma repetitively. And this is why the person, becomes depressed and stays in a low vibrational state, while the person who's taken their energy and absorbed it obtains this power and they're high vibrational, okay? And at the end of the day, This is what Diddy was doing. So please pay attention. It's like in the game of Pac-Man. When Pac-Man would eat the power-ups and then obtain power. It's like Diddy back in the 90s, when you think about it, Diddy was no tough guy. Nobody was afraid of him. Remember Jadakiss throwing a chair at him years ago? Now all of a sudden everyone seems to be afraid of Diddy. Well, that's because he has this power where he's harnessed these other people's energy and their power. And think about it like this. Okay, so Diddy was basically an apprentice who all of a sudden becomes Darth Vader. Okay, please pay attention. Now, when you think back to that episode of Drink Champs when Diddy was on there with Fabulous and he kept telling Fabulous something about him not partying with him, okay? And Fabulous said, yeah, I've partied with you. And he says, no, just me and you together. We haven't partied. He said something along those lines. He was clearly hitting on Fabulous. Okay, and he knows that Fabulous is not that way, but he was hitting on him and he was boldly doing it. And you would have thought that Fabulous would have stuck up and said something about it, but he didn't. He was very humble and meek. Everyone sitting there looked like they were just, shocked, like they were spooked. No one spoke up and said anything. It's like they all were afraid of Diddy. Okay, please pay attention. Now, though the root chakra is located at the base of the spine, it can actually be accessed through the perineum. In women, the perineum is located between the vajayjay and the back door. Now, in men, the perineum is the space between the scrotum and the back door. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that Diddy was a high vibrational person because clearly he's a whole demon. And I believe that he has many demons, a whole legion of demons, seeing as how he was carrying out these rituals where he was invoking certain entities, okay, malevolent entities at that, allegedly. With that all being said, it would be immediately after violating someone's root chakra that he would be high vibrational. If you've ever seen videos of him where he's just all pumped up and amped up, that was likely why. Okay, so please pay attention. And let's not forget about a transference of energy. Okay, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's simply transferred and transformed from one thing to another. Diddy has demonic energy because of the things that he's engaged in. Now, with that all being said, when he's violating these people and, disrupting their root chakras, at the same time, he's implanting basically his nefarious demonic energy into them, okay, through the perineum. Now, with that all being said, this travels up the 33 vertebrae of the spine, okay, crossing the vagus nerve. And this basically acts as like a second personality, okay? There's like a literal host, like a parasite, shall I say, a parasite inside of this person, using them as a host. So what he's done is now he's put his demons into this person, and the demons will keep the person low vibrational in these low vibrational states, keeping them from having happy, healthy relationships, having them, keeping them from having a good intimacy in their relationships and things like that. Because remember, the root chakra is directly connected or has a lot to do with our sexuality. Okay, please pay attention. So because energy is contagious, that would make Diddy a psyche vampire, or a energy vampire, as some people call it. A person who takes the energy from other people, leaving them feeling drained because they're putting all of their negativity on you and then taking your positivity to strengthen themselves. Now, some people do this by just telling you, miserable things that are going on with them, telling you low vibrational stories or about their problems, just putting all of their problems on you. If you, for example, have a person who calls you every time something goes wrong and they want to vent to you, you could be high vibrational, but by the time you're done listening to all of their problems and woes, now you feel absolutely drained of your energy. Well, that's what Diddy was doing. Only he wasn't doing it through words and telling people things. He was literally doing things to them physically, putting all of his nefarious low vibrational demonic energy on them and robbing them of their high vibrational energy to gain power. That's what he was doing. So please pay attention. Now, mind you, this is all alleged and pure speculation. Diddy maintains his innocence of all the allegations that have been levied against him. But this is all esoteric knowledge. And I'm just wondering who taught Diddy this. Okay, at the end of the day, this is hidden secret knowledge that most people don't have. And likely, in my opinion, it was one of Diddy's mentors. Yep, he probably learned it from Clive. Please pay attention. Probably learned it from Clive Davis. Now, I'm not saying that he did, but hey, if I had to guess, that's just what I would guess. Okay, all speculation, mind you. All right, so New Orleans Yahuwah's daughter says divination, evil, sorcery, witchcraft, warlock, straight up hellfire cults. Exactly. Okay, exactly.
Lisa Roberts says, energy vampires of the New Age cult. And I like the way you spelled that. Okay. Now, with that all being said, Tipsy Gypsy says Clive. I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe it, beloved. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about this documentary that they're doing on Chris Brown, because they say that Diddy is mentioned in there several times. Honey69 says, I agree with that speculation, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay. Now, here's the thing. They talk about Chris Brown's history of violence and all of that, but what is Diddy doing in this documentary? Why Diddy is involved in doc about Chris Brown's history with abuse accusations. Biggest revelations, they say. So, Investigation Discovery's newest tell-all addressed Chris Brown's history of abuse allegations. So why is Sean Diddy Combs mentioned several times in the documentary? Chris Brown, A History of Violence, which aired on Sunday, October 25th. How many of you guys saw that? I have not even seen it. I didn't realize it had come out already. Anyone seen this documentary? Once in the chat if you have. Once in the chat if you saw Chris Brown's documentary. I didn't even realize it was out already. Tipsy Gypsy says Diddy was Usher and Bieber's mentor. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So with that all being said, I guess no one's really seen it. Okay, so it goes on to say that, okay, it was aired October the 25th. It's part of the network's No Excuse for Abuse campaign, which shines a light at complex dynamics of intimate partner violence with resources and programming initiatives. Now, the 1-hour documentary examined not only Brown's tumultuous relationship with ex-girlfriend Rihanna, but the multiple incidents since, including several assault charges, lawsuits, and rape accusations. Diddy's name came up throughout the documentary due to his previous friendship with Brown. Now, the now disgraced music mogul supported Brown during the aftermath of his split with Rihanna, okay, which came after Brown was arrested for physically assaulting her. And you all remember I showed you the clip where Diddy was on Ellen, and Ellen basically was asking him, why would he allow them to stay at his house? And, she felt like he shouldn't have had Chris Brown staying there with Rihanna, given the circumstances of what had happened. And Diddy pretty much just told her that it's none of her business and that that's his house and he do what he wants. That's what he said in so many words. Now, 4 years after the alleged incident documented in the film, Diddy was indicted on charges of racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. After his September 24 arrest, Diddy pleaded not guilty before being denied bail. He currently faces up to life in prison if convicted. I wonder how Diddy's just feeling about that, knowing that he could possibly get life. Diddy's legal team has denied that their client was involved in any wrongdoing, as he continues to be named in multiple assault lawsuits. Meanwhile, Brown has been making headlines since he was charged for felony assault for harming Rihanna. Brown has continued to deny all allegations brought against him. So anyway, after a meeting in the music industry, Brown and Rihanna quietly started dating in 2008. Brown was charged 1 year later for physically assaulting Rihanna. He pleaded guilty to the felony and served 5 years on probation, as well as doing community service and attending domestic violence counseling. Now, former sergeant for the Los Angeles Police Department, Cheryl Dorsey, discussed the incident in the film, saying Chris was driving, punching her with his right fist as he drives with the left hand. This goes on for blocks. Her lip was busted and bruised. She sustained other injuries to her face as a result of her head being smashed repeatedly against the window. Several domestic violence advocates attempted to offer more context behind Brown and Rihanna's history of abuse. They say, when I unpack the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation, it's important that we understand that domestic violence doesn't happen from nowhere. This is what Dr. Carolyn West, who is a domestic violence expert, said regarding Brown's claims that his stepfather abused his mother. Now, she says, what struck me is what we call intergenerational trauma. Being exposed to violence early in life can make it difficult for you to have the skill set to have healthy relationships later on in life. And this is very true because, I have seen like these little experiments they've done with children. They will have children like maybe 2 to 3 years old in a room, and have two adults in the room, usually the parents, and they would have them start arguing. Not really get into a full-blown argument, but they'll be talking nice 1 minute and then they start to raise their voices as if they're angry. And you could see the change in the child after they stopped. There was one little boy, he was sitting there playing with the little blocks or whatever, and he was smiling and happy. Then once they started raising their voices and then someone intervened and told them to calm down, you could see that now the child seemed like he was withdrawn. He was no longer smiling. He didn't want to play with the toys, and he was just sitting there, almost like he was in shock. So this is very traumatizing to children, and this is learned behavior, because even if you're 2 or 3 and you may think, well, how do they remember these things? Well, it's programmed into the subconscious mind. That's what happens. And so then the person who has witnessed abuse can actually become an abuser, or a person who was abused can actually become an abuser. That's not every case, but that's in some of the cases. Okay. So the documentary included an interview with Brown, where Brown recalled witnessing abuse in his house as a child. Broadcast journalist Sharon Carpenter claimed Brown also publicly stated that he was so scared as a child that he would pee on himself to avoid running into his stepfather. They say he was very close to his parents, but things began to change for Chris when they split and his mother remarried. Even before what happened to Rihanna, Chris had done an interview speaking about how his mother dealt with abuse at the hands of his stepfather. According to the ID channel, Brown's stepfather denied the allegations that he abused Chris's mom. West, I'm sure he would deny it. Okay, they say West, meanwhile, tried to explain from the victim's perspective why Brown and Rihanna briefly reconciled after his arrest, saying that perpetrators aren't terrible all the time. So that is really what makes it hard for victims to leave, because it's confusing, because they think the person's going to change. They sometimes blame themselves and say, well, if I hadn't done this or said that, maybe this wouldn't have happened. And then they feel guilty. And sometimes, depending on the length of the relationship, they feel like they've invested too much time and they just don't want to start over with somebody else. Sometimes it's due to insecurities, and sometimes it's manipulation by the perpetrator of the abuse, because these people are very manipulative, okay? Sometimes they'll threaten to do things to themselves and all sorts of foolishness. Now, culture writer Sachi Cole also weighed in on Brown and Rihanna's relationship, playing out in the public, how it played out in the public eye, saying Chris goes to court, and during the sentencing phase, Rihanna reveals this wasn't the first time that Chris abused her. She alleged that the first time in Europe, Chris shoved her into the wall during an argument, and another time in Barbados, they got into a fight and he smashed both windows in their car. So this is clearly fits of rage that he was having. Now, Brown started seeing Tran after, that's Karrueche Tran, started seeing Tran after his split with Rihanna. Brown and Tran briefly called it quits when he reconciled with Rihanna in 2012. Karrueche said in an interview that there was one time when she was at home with Chris and he was going to go to the store. She turns on the TV and he's in courtside with Rihanna. Okay, I remember that too. Now, not long after, Rihanna called it off and he went back to Karrueche. She was someone who really stuck by his side through a lot, they say. Now, the couple dated on and off until 2014. Tran filed for restraining order against Brown in 2017, citing allegations of physical abuse. The order was later extended, and the documentary mentioned Tran's claims that Brown punched, pushed, and threatened her throughout their relationship. Okay, Brown denied the allegations at the time. Now, if all of this is true, and it likely is, it just goes to show that Chris did not learn his lesson. After all of the public embarrassment that he suffered after the incident with Rihanna, he should have learned his lesson. He took anger management, but clearly that didn't work. And let's keep in mind that at some point, Diddy took anger management as well. But I think it didn't work for him, because I think he only had to take it for a day, which is absolutely ridiculous to me. Okay, and I believe that was after he had the incident with Steve Stout. Now, Chris has a history with Diddy. Okay, this is what Carpenter noted in the documentary, saying that at around 12 years old, Chris had the opportunity to audition for Diddy, and it didn't go so well. Diddy didn't sign him. Diddy, however, remained in Chris Brown's life, especially during his ups and downs with Rihanna. Community activist Dr. Michelle Taylor spoke about the connection, saying, What's interesting about this is when you listen to Diddy's account, he said he invited Chris and Rihanna to come to his home to have some time to work through things. Now, in 2022, a woman going by Jane Doe sued Brown for allegedly drugging and raping her 2 years prior at a yacht party in Miami. Now, in court documents, the woman claimed that the boat was parked at Diddy's Star Island home. Are y'all listening? So is Diddy out here teaching other people to do the same thing? Because that's what it sounds like. And let us not forget that speaking of a yacht party, that's the same thing that was going on when his son, not Justin, Christian King Combs was accused of doing the same thing to Grace O'Marcaigh. Okay, that's why he has these allegations against him as well. Now, it goes on to say, I think a lot of people had heard a lot of things about Diddy throughout the years. This is what Carpenter said in the doc in reference to Diddy's arrest, saying that in 2020, he wasn't being investigated. Now, the unnamed woman ultimately participated in the doc. She only mentioned Diddy once, referring to him as really nice and welcoming. He must have had her fooled. Now, Investigation Discovery briefly touched on how Brown continued to be involved in various brawls and legal struggles since 2009. 2 years after his incident with Rihanna, Brown was asked about the situation on Good Morning America, and he subsequently threw a chair at a window before exiting the building. I remember that, and I was like, okay, this is really painting you in an even worse light. Like, you just don't learn. Like, he has these unprovoked bouts of rage. They literally asked him a question, and he just went haywire. So Brown acknowledged at the time that an incident took place on the set of the morning talk show. In 2013, Brown's probation was revoked after his involvement in an alleged hit-and-run incident. The charges were eventually dropped after a settlement was reached, and Brown served an additional 1,000 hours of community service. Brown was arrested that same year for felony assault and spent 36 hours in jail. The charge was reduced to simple assault, which is a misdemeanor, and Brown was released without bail in order to stay at least 100 yards away from the man that he was accused of assaulting. Now, after the 2013 incidents, Brown voluntarily entered a rehab facility before he was ultimately kicked out for violent behavior. Now, you get kicked out of a rehab facility because you're still acting a whole fool. Please pay attention. This is all so sad and clearly nefarious. Now, at the time, his probation officer claimed that Brown smashed his own mother's car window during a family session. Brown was sentenced to 3 months at a live-in anger management rehab facility where he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay, now, the legal issues kept on coming. The doc included an incident in 2015 where Brown allegedly assaulted someone. Footage from the police station showed the unnamed woman recounting what happened before returning 5 days later to say she didn't want to deal with the charges because of how Brown allegedly encouraged his social media followers to reach out to her. Brown denied her claims of assault at the time. So Brown was also sued by his management team for alleged assault in 2016, which was settled out of court. That same year, Lizzie-Ann Gutierrez claimed that she was punched in the face by Brown. She filed a report but the Los Angeles Police Department decided not to press charges. Okay, during the documentary, Gutierrez claimed that she was offered a settlement. Chris Brown's attorney denied these allegations, okay, and then read a statement in the documentary. He claims he never laid a hand on Lizzie-Ann Gutierrez, who he said was escorted from the premises after becoming disruptive and out of control and had previously been accused of similar behavior in other instances. This is a long history of violence, and it's like back to back, like almost every other year. So in 2018, an unidentified woman sued Brown and 2 other people after she was allegedly held down and assaulted in the singer's home. She sued the trio for sexual battery, and assault, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Brown's legal team denied the claims, and police didn't press any charges due to a lack of evidence. The Jane Doe filed a civil suit, which was later settled out of court. Then in 2022, a Jane Doe filed a $20 million lawsuit against Brown, alleging that he drugged and raped her. She spoke out in the dock but asked for her face not to be shown on screen, saying, "Chris Brown raped me. I can say that, and I know it for a fact instead of telling myself that it wasn't," she said before explaining why she chose not to go public. "Even coming forward as a Jane Doe, people still found out who I was, and I was attacked online," she says. Now, according to Jane Doe, she attended a party on a boat where Brown allegedly offered her several drinks. She claimed that she started to feel strange. So they went somewhere more private on the boat where she alleges Brown proceeded to rape her. Yeah, this is the same playbook from Diddy. This all sounds the same, like the same things Diddy was doing, putting stuff in people's drinks and then taking advantage of them. Now, I'm not saying this is true, but if it is, I'm pretty sure he learned this from Diddy. Now, most girls would be happy to have relations with Chris Brown, she said. "I didn't want to. This is not what I wanted." The woman remained in contact with Brown for several years and referenced text messages and video calls. Now, producers of the documentary clarified in a title card that they didn't have access to the text or calls and couldn't confirm their authenticity. Attorney Ariel Mitchell, you all remember Attorney Ariel Mitchell, the one that was previously, she's involved in the Diddy case. She has some clients she's representing that have accused Diddy. One of them, the first one, was Adria English, who said that Diddy made her have relations with Jacob the jeweler. She's now dropped that client due to some discrepancy. But anyway, Attorney Ariel Mitchell was also interviewed for the doc. She recalled taking on the case, but subsequently dropping it after Miami police shared months of text messages between Brown and Jane Doe. According to Mitchell, there were messages in which the woman repeatedly asked Brown if she could see him again after the alleged incident. I do remember that, and I didn't believe her because for the simple fact, why would you want to be still hooking up with this man? Why would you still want to see him after he did this? Okay, that doesn't mean that she's lying, but it just made me a little skeptical of her story. Now, the victim, for her part, maintained that the S abuse or the S assault happened, and she continued to keep in touch with Brown because she struggled to come to terms with what happened to her. Brown denied any wrongdoing, and a judge dismissed the case in 2022. Okay, so this is all, I really didn't think about that Chris had so many allegations of abuse and violence against him. This is a lot. Okay, this is a lot. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Now, Kamora Lee Simmons shares photos of Kim Porter and Sean Diddy Combs, the twins, at homecoming. As Sean Diddy Combs remains in federal custody in New York, his 17-year-old twins, Jesse and Delilah, whom he shares with late ex Kim Porter, posed for homecoming photos on social media. This just came out today. And so while Sean Diddy Combs awaits trial, his daughters are celebrating personal milestones. As the rapper remains in custody for charges related to trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy, to which he has pleaded not guilty, his and Kim Porter's 17-year-old twins, Delilah and Jesse, headed to homecoming in matching outfits. In photos shared by family friend Kamora Lee Simmons, Delilah and Jesse were all smiles in matching short orange dresses, gold jewelry, heels, and clutches. The 17-year-olds also posed with their respective dates, who complimented them in mostly Black attire, as well as photos with brothers Quincy Jones, Justin, and Christian Combs, as well as Kamora Lee's daughter, Ming Lee Simmons. Delilah and Jesse's special night out their special night out comes less than a week after all of the Combs children shared a joint statement detailing their difficulties as their father remains at Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn following his September 16th arrest. They say the past month has devastated our family. And this is what the Combs kids wrote in a joint Instagram statement on October the 22nd. Many have judged both him and us based on accusations, conspiracy theories, and false narratives that have spiraled into absurdity on social media. Bless their hearts. I really feel bad for the children. And of course, they don't think their father did any of these nefarious things of which he has been accused. And who would? Who would believe these things about their father? So at the end of the day, it's all sad. Now, let's talk about Kamala. Let us talk about Kamala and this interview that she did with Club Shay. First of all, let me just tell you all something. Shay was getting on my nerves, asking her these softball questions. Okay, is he serious right now? Sitting up there asking her about what kind of music she likes. Nobody cares. Okay, nobody cares. And I knew that he was going to be asking her those kinds of questions. I'm going to play a little bit of the audio from it. Let me just find it real quick. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Like and share. We're going to get into a little bit of this. I know we can't take much because I do not want to put you guys to sleep because that's clearly what had happened to me. Okay, I just fell asleep listening to the foolishness. Okay, and that's all it was as far as I'm concerned. Complete foolishness. Please pay attention. Mr. Elevation said, Kabami and her word salad nefariousness. Okay. All crazy. Claudette said, I tried to watch but couldn't do it. Luna says, oh my, Shay makes me sick, that tight suit. It was a little tight. Okay, Lisa says, men should not name themselves Shay. Okay, so I'm waiting for this ad to stop and then we'll get into it. I'm gonna Diddy is the opposite to Chris Brown, and he's been getting away with it. Yeah, he's gotten away with it for decades, allegedly, because he claims none of it's true. Okay, here we go.
Who, when we were young girls, sat us down and taught us how to play chess because Uncle Sherman said, you need to understand how the chessboard works because that's the way the world works. There are going to be different players with different moves, and you need to see the whole board. Mm-hmm. My mother raised us around, like my Auntie Chris, who went to Howard in the 50s and pledged Alpha Kappa Alpha. And she was one of my incredible role models growing up. And that was one of the big reasons I wanted to go to Howard University and pledge Alpha Kappa Alpha. Those are some of the lessons that I've learned from my mother. And I try to also share with people, right? Which is the beauty of community. And it's the way I am, right? Which is, the children in my life, whether they be my own or, my godchildren or whomever, right? That it's a collective responsibility that we have.
Did you know you were different? I mean, were there a lot of people in the community that looked like you or like your mom? Or did your mom tell you were different?
Well, my mother taught us to...
Sorry, let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb.
In my growing up, they would tell all of us kids that we were special.
Okay.
I don't think we were particularly special.
Right.
But they told us we were, and we believed them.
Yes.
We believed them. I think that's such an important part of what we can all do for the children and the children in our lives. And, but my mother raised 2 Black girls to be proud Black women. Back to music. One of the soundtracks from my childhood was, You Are Young, Gifted, and Black. And that's what it was.
Kabami, please sit down somewhere. We're talking about young, gifted, and Black. Okay, hold on. Let me let this ad finish playing. I'm sorry, I cannot. I absolutely cannot. Okay. Trinity Love said, I don't like her. I don't either. She needs to have several seats somewhere is what she needs to do. So anyway, I'll start it back in just a second. Hold on. She said she wasn't going to drink LOL. Yeah, it's interesting how she didn't want to sip any of that drink. She said she'd fall asleep. I'm so sure. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do to make sure, because that, people with disabilities, retirement, survivors with beneficiaries, what are you going to do to make sure that that continues?
So, Shannon, to your point, there was an independent economic review of Donald Trump's plan, which shows that Social Security in the next 6 years would be insolvent under his plan, meaning that it would not be able to pay out what hardworking people who deserve dignity in their retirement deserve. And as you and I both know, there are a lot of our seniors who their only source of income is that Social Security check.
Correct.
First of all, I literally heard Donald Trump say that he was not going to do anything to Social Security. But second of all, at the end of the day, her and Biden gave Social Security benefits to people who came here from foreign countries that didn't even put into our system. So how is she going to say anything about what he's going to do to Social Security? Okay, please make it all make sense. But let's continue.
Right? It's the only way they're going to pay the rent or have food on the table. So my plan is about doing what we need to do to put the resources back into Social Security, but also expanding it. Because here's part of the problem with Social Security is that for our aging seniors, if they are a couple, for example, and one of the spouses passes, that cuts their Social Security benefits almost in half. So part of my plan is to reconfigure it so that that surviving spouse does not then have a crisis where they've already lost their loved one. But we also just have to understand on a macro level, we've got to require that billionaires and corporations pay their fair share, right? They can afford to.
Goodness Rated Bo says, so yeah, Kamala can dance, so she's definitely black. Please sit down somewhere. There are plenty of people that are not black that can dance. And I know you know that. Haven't you seen Dancing with the Stars? Please pay attention.
And that's part of what is the difference between me and Donald Trump. My plan is about tax cuts for small businesses, for working people, for middle-class people. 100 million Americans will benefit around tax cuts. My plan is that no taxes will be raised for anybody making less than $400,000 a year. My plan is that we give young parents.
Now, I hope you all don't believe this load of bull that she's spewing, because here's the thing. If she's really going to have no taxes for people making less than $400,000 a year, okay, I'm going to go ahead and cry foul, because at the end of the day, she and Biden are the same ones who made it to where if you make over $600, okay, in your Cash App, that you can get taxed for it. Okay, don't they track that? So please sit down somewhere. Like, she is totally lying. Y'all consider and believe the BS if you want to.
A $6,000 child tax credit to help them pay for child care, for a crib or a car seat, because you and I both know the vast majority of our young parents have a natural desire to parent their children well, but not always the resources. And back to the way I was raised, I know that the children of the community are the children of the community. That you and I will benefit from that young family having the resources they need. So it's about all of us benefiting, but it's a state of mind and it's a perspective. Mine is about thinking about the challenges people face and getting them help. Donald Trump is full-time focused on himself. You watch his rap.
Donald Trump doesn't need to be full-time focused on himself, because he has you to do it for him. Because in every darn interview that she does, he's always the main focus of her talking points. She's always focused on Donald Trump. How is he having time to focus on himself when she's doing it for him? Okay, at the end of the day. That's right. Claudette says, so are you. Exactly. Okay. She needs to sit down somewhere, but let's continue. Now, here's the thing. Donald Trump sat down for that Joe Rogan interview for about 3 hours, answered all sorts of questions about UFOs and everything that he was asked. Not one time did he spew word salad, Kabami. And here you go with the same old stale, dry, word salad with no dressing and croutons. Yet again, we are so tired of it.
He will spend full time talking about, I was going to say Freddy Krueger, Hannibal Lecter. Might as well be Freddy Krueger. Hannibal Lecter. He'll spend full time talking about his grievances, about what everyone has done to him. He'll talk about himself, but he does not talk about the American people. He does not talk about what he's going to do for middle class. He does not talk about what he's going to do for families, for working people. And we're 12 days out. This is probably one of the most serious elections that we have faced in our lifetime. My perspective, and I will be the kind of president who spends full time focused on the needs of the people. That has been my career. I have spent my whole career as a public servant trying to uplift the condition of other people, knowing what is possible and doing it with a sense of optimism.
So you mean to tell me those black women that she sent to jail because their children were missing school because they were sick? Okay, one lady's daughter had sickle cell anemia and she missed all those days of school, and Kabami sent her right on to jail and laughed about it. You mean to tell me when Jamal Truelove was sitting there pining away in prison for a murder he didn't commit, and now he's been compensated $13 million, okay, after he had to sue once he got out? You mean to tell me the black man who was on death row in Kabami's office had in their hands and possession evidence that could likely have exonerated him, but she refused to let that be seen and tested. Well, I find it all interesting that now she's so much for the people. Like she's out here just doing the work. Like she's out here boots on the ground. This is the same border czar who wouldn't even go to the border and then sat there and lied to that man's face during an interview when he said, "Have you been to the border?" And she says, "We've been to the border." And he said, "Have you been to the border?" He said, "You haven't been to the border." She said, "I haven't been to Europe either." Like trying to crack a joke. It's nothing funny. It's nothing funny at all. Okay. About these people coming here and just causing all this violence and all this stuff that's going on in Colorado and places like that. She needs to sit down somewhere and stop worrying about what Trump is doing or not doing and just focus on herself. This is where she falls short. The more she talks about Trump, she's thinking that that's going to get her votes. That's turning people off because we're sick of hearing it. At the end of the day, tell us about yourself. Talk about your policies and stop telling us about your darn family, okay, and how your mother raised you and about community and cooking collard greens in the tub and all of that foolishness. We don't want to hear it. And I don't care what kind of music she listens to. And I don't care that Stevie Wonder is saying happy birthday to her for her birthday, like she was sitting up there saying, okay? Pay attention. Some of these people go too easy on her rather than asking the hard questions. What I want to know is why the hell her and Biden haven't said anything. There's been no response. There's been nothing but crickets. After that man, Mossad Yusuf, threatened United States politicians. I still want to know the answer for that. I want to know why they passed that bill September the 27th of 2024, the DOD directive 5240.01 that says that the United States military can come in and assist the law enforcement on the ground and shoot United States citizens if we're out here protesting against the government or doing anything that pertains to civil unrest that they don't want us doing. I want to know why she wants to silence people on social media and make us stay censored so we can't say anything, voice any disdain or anything contrary to the views and opinions that have been put out in the narratives painted by the government. This is what I want to know. Why isn't anyone asking her these questions during her interviews? Well, let's continue.
Listen, on January 20th, a new president is going into the White House. Mm-hmm. Period. A new president is going into the White House. Do you want to look at the Oval Office and see a Donald Trump who's going to be sitting there filling out his enemies list, spending full time figuring out retribution and revenge, or looking at the Oval Office and knowing you have a president in there who's creating a to-do list that's about what to do to help the American people?
So raising minimum age of Social Security, that's not on the table for you.
No. Look, people work hard all their lives and they deserve to be able to retire with dignity. I'll tell you how I come at this. I come at it from a number of perspectives, including thinking about how I was raised in terms of how you take care of the elders, mm-hmm. right? I think about it in terms of taking care of my mother when she was sick and dying from cancer. Mm-hmm. So one of my policies, for example, is to help Medicare pay for home health care for seniors. Why? Because, look, I did it, and it means, trying to cook for an elder, to make something they feel like eating, right? To help them put on a sweater. And we have so many people who are in the sandwich generation. They're raising their young kids and taking care of their parents. And either they have to...
Hold on. Let me fact check her real quick. Because Kabami be out here lying, okay? They say Trump tells lies, but so does she. So let's talk about it. Let me just fact check it real quick, okay? Let's see what Trump said about Social Security, because I could have sworn that he never said any such thing of which she's accusing him. But let me just double check, because I could be wrong. Okay, now here's what it says. And this came out October the 27th, just yesterday. All right. Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump have both vowed to protect Social Security. But experts say both of their campaign platforms fall short of specific solutions for a program that faces threats to funding in roughly a decade. And this is why her and Biden shouldn't have been giving it to people who are not from this country, who are not citizens of this country, who came here from foreign lands. This is why they shouldn't have been giving it to people, because the funds are running out. Now, recent estimates show not only would neither candidate's agenda stave off the threat of insolvency, So she needs to be talking about herself while she's talking about Trump. Let's keep going. But that's one proposal. But that one's proposal could worsen its budget outlook, absent ideas to tax or spending reforms to extend the lifetime of the program. So here's what the candidates have said so far. Okay, Trump drew attention during the summer by proposing eliminating the taxation of Social Security benefits, one of a list of proposals aimed at providing tax relief to some Americans. Okay, so he wants to stop taxing Social Security benefits. However, experts have raised concerns about the cost of scrapping income taxes on Social Security checks and how it would impact the program's finances. They say his proposal would have a significant financial impact on Social Security because now those income taxes that some beneficiaries pay account for about 4% of Social Security's revenues. This is what Richard Johnson, a senior fellow for the Income and Benefits Policy Center at the Urban Institute, said. Now, the combined trust funds for Social Security retirement and disability benefits are currently projected by the program's trustees to run out in 2035, so about 10 years from now, a year later than previously expected after economic growth exceeded expectations last year. So, but under what Trump has proposed thus far, a recent analysis from the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, which is also known as the CRFB, estimated the program's funds could run out by 2031 while increasing Social Security's cash deficit by $2.3 trillion between fiscal 2026 and fiscal 2035. A chunk of the cost comes from what the group identified as roughly $950 billion in a price tag to eliminate income taxation of Social Security benefits. Trump's campaign has come out strongly against the analysis, with its national press secretary Carolyn Levitt accusing the so-called experts of being consistently wrong throughout the years. And I do believe that they are wrong in this aspect. It just doesn't make sense to me. I believe that they just want to continue to tax people for their Social Security, so they're trying to act as though Trump's plan for not taxing Social Security benefits is a bad idea. Now, that's just my 2 cents. Now, President Trump delivered on his promise to protect Social Security and Medicare in his first term. So please pay attention, Caban, with your lying self. Okay, and President Trump will continue to strongly protect Social Security and Medicare in his second term. This is what Levitt said. So, and you all really need to think about this. All of these things that she's accusing Trump of, if he didn't do this when he was in office before, why would he do it now? Also, think about when there was a better economy. There was a better economy under Trump's administration, not Biden and Kabami's. Okay, please pay attention. And Kabami already told on herself in that View interview where she specifically said there would be no changes, no difference between her and Biden. After she received backlash, then she comes out with a whole nother story. Oh, I'm going to have a different, I'm going to have my own administration. It's not going to be a repeat of the Biden administration. Girl, sit down somewhere. Of course it will, because all y'all Democrats do the same bullshit. But let me continue. So then goes on to say that Levitt said a second Trump administration would shore up Social Security funding by unleashing a new economic boom. Still, Trump's agenda leaves experts guessing as to what changes he would support to shore up solvency for the program. In the official 2024 GOP policy platform highlighted on Trump's campaign site, the plan calls for no cuts to Social Security and Medicare, as well as no changes to the retirement age. Now, y'all see how she's sitting up her lying? See, this is what you got to do. You can't listen to what a lying devil says. You have to fact check them. She's sitting here saying that Trump's going to raise the age of retirement. She's sitting here saying that he's going to do away with Social Security and all of this stuff. None of it's true. He's never said any of this ever. This is what she's saying. She's a liar who lies. If you want to know Trump's policies, go look it up on his website. At the end of the day, this is the person who's just making up stuff. She's spreading disinformation. How come nobody says anything about that? Okay, they want to call Trump out all the time and say, oh, Trump's lying and this, that, and the third or whatever. But when they lie, nothing is said. So it's okay for her to tell lies, but the rest of us have to be censored because, oh, we might give disinformation. Okay, please pay attention. But let me continue. Now, here's what they say about Harris on Social Security. Harris Harris's online campaign page has vowed that she will protect Social Security and strengthen the program by making millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share in taxes. Now, as part of the rollout for the proposed fiscal 2025 federal budget earlier this year, the Biden-Harris administration additionally outlined a pitch to extend solvency for the program by focusing on higher earners, noting that middle-class and lower-class Americans pay Social Security taxes on all of their earnings, but higher-income Americans do not. Now, at the time, the White House said the president also opposed benefit cuts and proposals to privatize Social Security. Okay, now, but experts and budget hawks say the vice president's agenda is still missing key details about her plans to shore up the program's finances. In a statement Tuesday, Michael Peterson, the CEO of the Peter G. Peterson Foundation, said neither presidential candidate has addressed this challenge, and every year we fail to take action, it only becomes more difficult to fix. Overwhelmingly, majorities of voters want candidates to prioritize solutions to strengthen Social Security, and the good news is that there are many available options to do just that, he says, while also noting the program is less than a decade away from automatic across the board cuts, putting many millions of current retirees at financial risk. Now, I'm sorry, if the Social Security Department is facing financial risk and they're running out of funds, do you all not think, let's just use common sense, do you all not think that it is something to do with her and Biden giving money to immigrants who come here? What do y'all have to say about that? What do y'all have to say about that? Hold on, beloveds. Now, with that all being said, I find it all so interesting. Okay? Because not only have they given them Social Security benefits, this was all reported sometime last year or maybe the year before. But the bottom line is they also give them all of this money in food stamps and cash on EBT cards and all of that. Meanwhile, we have people out here that are homeless, and then they send billions over to Ukraine. Okay, they send billions over to Israel. If you're going to be sending money to foreign countries, why can't you first fix the homeless crisis here? Why can't you fix the drug epidemic here? Why can't you have mental health facilities for people who are in need of it, specifically veterans who fought for this country and now suffer from post-traumatic stress, or who have all sorts of issues going on with them? Why can't they take care of those things first? I mean, didn't Kamala say that she's for America, she's for the citizens, she's for the people, it's all about community? Didn't she say that? Didn't she say that? But what does Trump want to do? Trump wants to charge those people. Okay, the people who come over here and they want to sell their cars and whatever, they want to sell their things from here. He wants to charge them tariffs so that we don't have to keep paying income taxes. He said before in the first administration, or maybe sometime after, that he wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve. Now, I want you all to pay attention, because tomorrow I'm going to re-upload this video that I did breaking down how these presidents who were assassinated previously, how they, in fact, went against the Federal Reserve, every last one of them. These world leaders who lost their lives went against the Federal Reserve. Okay, so that all been said, let's continue, because Kabam is just a liar who lies at this point, and I really can't believe anything that she says. Okay, vote for her at your own peril is all I'm saying.
Deplete their savings to qualify for Medicaid, right? To be able to help pay for home health care, or they have to quit their job to do the work of taking care of their kids and their parent. And I just believe that's not right. That we should have policies that give people dignity, especially our seniors. So my plan is Medicare pays for home health care. And no, I would not raise the age of eligibility for Social Security, because the same thing, we shouldn't force people to work until they're 70 in order to retire and have a moment to just enjoy their life and not worry about how they're going to pay their rent.
Is Medicare for all a priority for you?
What is a priority for me is making sure that Access to health care is a right and not just a privilege of those who can afford it. That's why I am in favor of and have pushed and been a leader on capping the cost of insulin at $35 a month. And why I intend to allow Medicare to actually negotiate against the big pharmaceutical companies to bring down the cost of prescription medication for everybody. That's why I have fought for what we need to do.
That's a nothing burger. That's a nothing burger. I want you to pay attention to what she said. It all sounds good if you're really not listening. Okay. It all sounds good if you're really not listening. She's sitting here talking about she's going to make it so that Medicare can negotiate with big pharma. And what does that even mean? Okay, so even if they do negotiate with big pharma, that doesn't yield any fruitful benefits. The big pharma could not go along with whatever they're proposing. They could say, no, we're still going to charge X, Y, and Z, which is likely what they're doing. Because if you ask me, big pharma is nothing but a whole drug cartel, a legalized one. That's just my opinion. And it's all about the money. This is why people who come up with holistic health and things that can, help people as far as herbs and all that, well, we all see how that turns out. Let's not forget that in July of 2015, about 50 holistic doctors turned up dead, okay, within a 6-week period. Anybody remember that? Now, I wonder why that all happened. I don't know why it happened, but I just have my suspicions. Was it because they were out here trying to use herbs and things that didn't come from pharmaceutical companies? Okay, and let's not forget the root word of pharmaceutical is pharmaca, and that's means sorcery, witchcraft. Okay. And if you wonder why some of the side effects of some of these medicines that they prescribe to people include things like depression. Have you had thoughts of depression or suicidal thoughts with an S? Okay. These are some of the things that come when you get some of these medications. Now, what kind of nefarious medication would make someone have those sort of thoughts? Doesn't it sound like demonic activity, perhaps? Doesn't it sound like some sort of witchcraft? Okay, I just want you all to pay attention, but let's continue.
Around making sure Medicare covers senior care. Access to health care should not be a question of how much money you have in your back pocket. That's just not right. And I feel strongly about that.
Oh, yeah, you do. Please.
Blacks for Trump.
Mm-hmm.
They feel that Trump is better for the black community. Can you explain Donald Trump's history with blacks? Where did this come that all of a sudden, this
election alert. Election day is on November 5th. Who you vote for is private, but if you vote is public information. After this election, your voting record will be updated, and your friends and family will be able to look up how often you vote. So vote on or by Tuesday, November 5th.
Hold on, beloveds. Let me go past.
To say I'm Donald Trump of the ghetto, because he was, for a lot of blacks, not all, but for some blacks, he was, Madam VP, whether we want to admit it or not, he's revered by some blacks.
But here's the thing. The question for everybody, should he be president of the United States?
Okay.
Right? That's the question. Should he have the ability to sit behind the seal of the president of the United States when he says
he already sat behind it? And at the end of the day, should you have the ability with your foolish self? This is nothing more than an educated fool. Okay, this woman can't even string 2 sentences together as far as I'm concerned. And then Goodness Rated Bo said that was Obama's economy. No, it wasn't. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Obama told you that was his economy and you believed it like a fool. If you do the research, because the proof is out there, it will surely let you know that it was not Obama's economy. That's not true. It absolutely was not, okay? Obama did not have the economy just popping. No, he didn't. All right, please pay attention. Obama also didn't send anybody stimulus checks when they were having financial difficulties, and Trump did. Another thing is Trump didn't mandate anybody to take the venom. The Biden administration did. So let's not paint narratives. If you don't like Trump, that's fine, but let's not sit here and tell lies, okay? Obama told you that was his economy. Obama is a liar. Go fact check it. And while you're at it, Go ask Obama why he gave the police a blue alert law when they were out here murking people who look like me left and right during his administration. Okay, but he didn't give anything for us. He didn't do anything to protect us. There was no anti-hate crime bill at the end of the day. So do you really think Obama loved you? Did Obama do anything for you? Obama said they don't even call him black. Do you all remember that on 2009 when Obama went on the Tom Joyner morning show and they announced him as the first black president? He told them that he doesn't consider himself black because black has no standing in law. So please sit down somewhere. Let's continue.
He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. You know what that would mean?
Yeah, I know what it would mean. The same thing that you and Biden have already done, because you and Biden want to take away people's guns, the Second Amendment. You and Biden have already destroyed freedom of speech. That's why I can't say certain words on my broadcast. Neither can anyone else without getting in trouble at the end of the day. And I just played you all a video, I believe it was yesterday, where she was sitting there still talking smack about how they want people to be silenced on social media, aka censored, like we live in some sort of communist regime. But she wants us to think that Biden is the one, or that Trump's the one that wants to take away democracy. The same lady who her and Biden just let that bill pass, that directive that gives the military the wherewithal to murk its own citizens. But she didn't have the same smoke, nor did Biden, for that man, Mossad Yusuf, who made a threat to U.S. politicians. They didn't threaten him, but they're threatening us. So you mean to tell me you're going to let the military wage war on United States citizens? Okay, they're going to do battle with us if we're out there protesting or whatever. This is the same woman who on her watch in Biden's, this black woman, and I told you all this weeks ago, is now in federal prison. Okay, a mother of 2 children with a husband because she was peacefully protesting. The woman was literally praying outside of an abortion clinic. But now she's going to a federal prison for 3 years, okay? Because you can't say anything against their narrative. And by the way, when she's always talking about reproductive health, and then she's always directing that to people who look like me. She's always, even in her ads, go look for yourself. She's always got a bunch of black women talking about it. Okay, I'm sorry, but abortion is another word for genocide. Okay, abortion is another word for depopulation. Pay attention. That's just another way for them to put it. They want to sit there and act like, oh, we're for women's reproductive rights. What the hell does abortion have to do with reproductive rights? Okay, I'm sorry. Make that make sense. But let's continue.
In the Constitution of the United States is your 4th Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure. Your 5th Amendment right. Your 6th Amendment right to an attorney.
Well, a lot of rights going to be gone. The First Amendment.
But the First Amendment, the Second Amendment. Yes. Look, I'm in favor of the Second Amendment. I don't believe we should be taking anybody's guns away. He wants to terminate the Constitution of the United States. He is the same one like...
Let me stop it again. She's lying. Now, you all already know, for those of you who've been watching, you know darn well I showed you a video where she sat there and told that same lie. You all need to stop saying that. We're not trying to take away people's guns. And right beside it, I played the clip where she was talking just about taking away people's guns. Okay, it's just like she's now saying she's not for banning fracking, but in 2019, she was against banning fracking. And 2016, she sued Obama because she wanted to ban fracking. Go look it up. This woman is just a liar who lies. You can't believe anything that she says at the end of the day. Okay, please pay attention. And anytime you have to sit there and you have to demean somebody else constantly, everything that they ask you about what you would do or wouldn't do, you have to bring up Trump. Now, I know that Trump has thrown jabs at her. He's clowned her. He's called her names and all of that. But what Trump doesn't do is when they ask him questions about policy, he doesn't blame it on her. He tells them what he's going to do. Okay, go watch the Joe Rogan interview. But what she does, she just continuously says all of this word salad and tells all of these lies. And look at Mel Shamima King saying Trump is racist. What if he is? Who cares? At the end of the day, are you voting for him based on you and him being best friends? You don't think every president who's been in office other than Obama was racist? You don't think Biden was racist, but I'll bet you voted for Biden because some of you black people are stuck on the Democratic plantation. That's just what it is. And you voted for Biden, but you want to cry and say Trump's racist. Biden said the N-word publicly. Go look it up. Biden said that black children going to school with his kids was the equivalent of a racial jungle. Go look it up. Biden likened black children to roaches. Go look it up. Biden, just like Hillary, called black teenagers super predators. Go look it up. But you won't look it up. Okay, that's what you won't do. And I've already shown all of this previously on previous broadcasts. For those of you who missed it, all you gotta do is go look it up. Now, don't sit up here and whine and cry and say, "Oh, Trump's racist." Well, yeah, so it's Biden. So miss me with it. And I guarantee you voted for him. I guarantee you voted for him. Okay, so please miss me with it. What kind of fool do you have to be to vote for somebody who literally said all of those things about black people, but now you want to talk trash about Trump? What did Trump say publicly about black people? Please put it in the chat because I don't remember. Somebody please put it in the chat what Trump said negatively about black people. I'm waiting. Can anybody put it in the chat? Please put it in there because I must have missed it. What did he specifically say about black people? Because some of y'all sitting up here saying, oh, he's racist because he said something about those immigrants coming over here. He said some of them were nice people, I imagine. And he said, but some of them are rapists and murderers. Well, where's the lie? That's the truth. Okay? Currently, look at this this Venezuelan gang that we have. Are not some of them the same? Okay, I've reported on the stories. So where was the lie? At the end of the day, and then also they love to lie, the Democrats do, and say that when they had that Charleston rally down there, and the young woman got killed when the person drove their car into the crowd, that person who was a neo-Nazi or whatever, and they lied and said that Trump said, well, you know, both sides had good people. He wasn't even talking about, he said, but not the neo-Nazis. Go look up what he really said, because all they did was just play you a clip, which was edited. Okay, this is all true, to make any of it up.
Like I said earlier, who denied rent to black families, who took out that full page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of those children, who birtherism accusations against the first black president, not to mention please ask folks to Google Project 2025.
Yeah.
He would get rid of the $35 a month cap on insulin. We know how many of our seniors had it. I'll give you another example of why Donald Trump has not earned the support of folks to be president of the United States again. When he was president the last time, during the height of COVID, 1 in 3 black Americans knew somebody who died from COVID. You remember those days?
I do.
And people couldn't get their hands on a COVID test. At that very same time, Donald Trump as president secretly sent COVID tests to the president of Russia.
There she goes with that same old stale talking point again. Well, let's talk about it. Yeah, so Trump supposedly secretly sent the test over there to Putin. But guess what, Kabami? You and Biden sent billions of dollars over to Ukraine. Okay, but you got homeless people living on the streets. Some of them fought for this country. What do you have to say about that? What's more detrimental to this country? Tests that he sent over to Putin, or all of this funding that you sent over to Ukraine, when you're sitting here telling us yourself that Social Security is on the brink of decline, okay, and insolvency? Okay, please make it all make sense. Didn't she just say that it's going to run out? Didn't she just say that everything costs too much? Didn't she tell us on another interview that I know that groceries are too high. I know that prices are too high. Well, if you know that, since you've been in office for the past 4 years, why didn't you and Biden do something about it? So don't think that we're going to sit here and believe, those of us who are smart at least, are going to sit here and believe that you're going to fix it miraculously all of a sudden if you become president, because you didn't do a damn thing when you were vice president, and neither did Joe Biden. And let us not forget, for those who tried to paint the narrative that, oh, when I first started saying this stuff months ago, when she first started running, okay, about 60 days ago or so, don't forget that when I was telling you guys this right here, then there were some Kabamians, that's what I call her supporters. There were some of them saying, well, she wasn't the president. The vice president does control that. And I told you all, I said common sense, that the vice president works hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with the president. You don't think that she can give him ideas and advice? If he's not doing something, she can talk to him about it if she realizes it's an issue. But they were like, oh, no. And then what happens? Biden comes out and says that everything they did it together, that she was down with all of it. I'm paraphrasing, but y'all know that's what he said. And she said it out of her own mouth too. She said, I was involved in every major decision. So y'all can miss me with it at the end of the day. Okay, please pay attention.
For his personal use. While Americans were dying every day, he has not earned the right to be president of the United States. It's one thing if he has a television show that's very popular. He can put his name on a building. Even though we all know he was not a terribly good businessman, which is why he filed for bankruptcy 6 times. But that is one thing. To be president of the United States means to try and find common ground.
Hold on. Goodness Rated Bo says, have you ever had a white friend who hangs out with you when no other white person is around, but when there is white people's around, he or they don't hang out with you? If you're asking me, no, I've never had such foolishness. Okay. My white friends hung out with me no matter who was around. Okay. I'm sorry. What? Please make that all make sense. If that's the kind of friends you had, then clearly they weren't your friends. Okay. Pay attention.
Consensus to lift up the American people instead of trying to beat people down all the time. It means solving problems, which means you have to be able to get out of your own head and scan to be concerned about the well-being of other people and then do something about it. Does anyone think Donald Trump thinks that way?
Yeah, well, empathy requires you to divorce your own ego to see yourself as someone else.
That's exactly right. And we know that's not his character. So it's about, is this the right person for that job? Right?
He said immigrants are taking black jobs. I don't know what those black jobs that they're taking. Can you elaborate on that? What the immigrants are taking? What black jobs are they?
Well, it's just another example of him trying to divide and him trying to scare people. It's just another example of him doing that.
Talk about scaring people. That's all she's been doing the whole time she's been campaigning. Hey, True Royal Family Beloved, says a Chinese woman just insults Kamala Harris. Oh, thank you for reminding me because I actually shared that on X. Let me go to that. Yes, some of these people that she's been letting come across the border, her and Biden, they're now going in on her and calling her stupid. Please pay attention, Yone. It is all so nefarious. Okay? At the end of the day, I find it all so interesting. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Now, with that all being said, hold on, you guys. I need to sign into my Twitter account real quick because I cleared my cache earlier today. And so now I got to sign in. While I'm doing that, let's have a word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, so with that all being said, you can purchase your 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just go to Lisa Crafts, and you can also purchase it at Walmart.com. Okay, so with that all being said, let me just go to this video with this Chinese lady just giving Kamala all the smoke. Please pay attention. I'm going to share my screen. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance.
You heard it right here, folks. 2024, folks.
We're Chinese, first generation. We love Trump from our bottom of the heart because we know Trump is the only one can save America. Kamala is so stupid. She is so low. IQ equal no Q, no qualification to be the president. You shall stay away from that position. You already lost the position. You lost our trust. You lost our vote. You just need to go home, to stay home. You cannot do anything to save America. You are so stupid. You don't know anything. You cannot even answer any question.
You heard it right here, folks. 2024, folks.
Chinese, we're Chinese, first generation. We love.
I absolutely cannot. Okay, so that lady is an immigrant who is clearly giving Kabami all the business. Okay? Do y'all hear this? And I want you to pay attention because this is absolutely hilarious to me, seeing as how they came up with during the Biden administration an anti-Asian hate crime bill. And they tried to act like Black people were attacking Asians. Now, the question is, as I asked you back then, if we were the ones attacking them and they were so fearful of us that they needed an entire hate crime bill, why is it that all of their businesses are in our neighborhoods? Why is it that they make the bulk of their money from Black people? Please make it all make sense. But see, they didn't give us an anti-Black hate crime bill when we're the ones who get a majority of the hate crimes perpetrated against us. Okay, this is what Kabami and Biden did. When you go to the polls, you remember that. Okay, while she wants to sit here and paint these narratives. But let's continue.
Him trying to say it's either you or them, right? Mm-hmm. And the other thing is that it's incredibly demeaning because, and he still has not been forced to define, Donald Trump, what do you define as a Black job? Because let me tell you what I define as a Black job. Vice President of the United States.
That's a good one.
Right?
It is.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Listen, I want you all to pay attention to something. First of all, she knows darn well what Trump meant, and the Democrats all know what he meant too. What basically Trump was saying, and you know Trump's not always good with his words, but when he said they're taking Black jobs, he really meant they're taking jobs away from Black people. Okay, that's what he was saying, that they're taking jobs away from Black people. And this is true. I told you all about my friend who has a cleaning company and she had all these contracts for these offices and all of this. And then these immigrants came in and they started basically undercutting her price, doing it for half of what she was charging. And so who do you think they're going to go with? That's the kind of stuff he's talking about. These people want to sit here and paint narratives and try to act like Trump's racist. That's the main thing they want to do. Well, okay, let's say if he is racist. I'm sorry, was George Bush not? What about Ronald Reagan? Okay, what about Bill and Hillary Clinton? I have several questions. Please miss me with it, okay? He's no racist and the rest of them have been. And that's just the bottom line. At the end of the day, I don't care who's racist and who isn't. What I want to know is who's going to do what's in my best interest. Who's going to make the economy better? Who's going to have prices lowered? Who's going to make sure or try to make sure that Social Security is still around for those who need it? Who is going to do something about all of these migrants coming here, committing all these crimes and doing all the most and all of that? Who's going to do it? It's not going to be her. Who's going to make sure our borders are secure? It's not going to be Kabami. Okay, so don't let them fool you with a race card, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be racist people and racism. The bottom line is, throughout history, we could say that all the presidents we've ever had were racist, except for Obama. And even though he wasn't, he still didn't do a darn thing for Black people. Oh, so please make it all make sense. And let me just remind you again of some of the things that Trump has done for Black people. And I want you all to then put in the chat what the hell Kabami has done for Black people. Let's see. I told you the other day and I showed you the receipts. So I'm not going to show all the receipts again, but I'll just tell you, you can go back and watch the video. Trump got Kwame Kilpatrick, the former mayor of Detroit, out of prison 20 years earlier. Okay, Angela Stanton King, he pardoned her so that she could run for Congress. Okay, and when she told him the story of how she was in prison chained to a bed as she gave birth, he made it a law that no woman should be chained to a bed while they give birth in prison. Okay, he helped get A$AP Rocky out of jail in that foreign country. He helped Kodak Black, Lil Wayne. Okay, he pardoned several other Black people. I can't remember all of their names, but one of them was a woman, Alice somebody, I do believe, and she had been in prison for like 20 years. Okay, and then at the end of the day, didn't he allow Nelson Mandela to use his private jets? Okay, even though Nelson Mandela paid for it, but nonetheless, nobody else let him use theirs. All right, where were the Democrats? And as it pertains to the Central Park Five that they want to keep bringing up, here's the thing. Back then, Trump was a Democrat, and it was a Democratic prosecutor who had them falsely convicted and sent to prison after the prosecutor and the police were threatening them and all kinds of stuff, and had them giving false information to incriminate themselves without having parents or guardians present while they interrogated them. At the end of the day, so with that all being said, what's worse, Trump paying $85,000 for the advertisement for them to get the death penalty at the time, or Kabami allowing a Black man to sit up in prison, okay, on death row knowing that her office had the evidence that could possibly have exonerated him, but they didn't want to turn the evidence over. What about the 600 Black men who went to prison on Kabami's watch after the woman who worked in the drug lab was messing with the testing? Okay, she was tampering with it. And at the end of the day, once it came to light, Kabami didn't want to do anything. She wasn't even going to prosecute this woman. She was going to let those 600 Black men languish in prison. But the judge made her do something about it. She had to be forced. The judge had to force her hand. And then last but not least, I already showed you the interview of Jamal Truelove and what he said about how Kabami allowed him to be falsely convicted and framed by the police and had to sit up in prison for 5 or 6 years. Okay, and then eventually got out, fortunately for him, on appeal, and then sued the state, got $13 million. So when you think about that, you tell me which is worse. Okay, for those of you specifically who want to say, oh, we have to choose between the lesser of two evils. Well, you tell me which one is the most evil. Which predicament would you want to have been in? Please answer, because I have several questions. Now, with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast, and you all can ponder whatever you think about it. Dervis says she's evil to the bone. Yes, she absolutely is, in my opinion. Let's not forget, now she wants to, oh, did you all know she got booed at a church? Hold on, let me see if I can find that real quick. Somebody told me today that she actually got booed at a Black church. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Hold on. Now, with that all being said, I find it all very interesting because here's the thing. She had the nerve to start going to churches. Please pay attention. I told you all a week or so ago that she had Bill Clinton go to a church. Okay, the Democrats, they sent Bill Clinton to a church campaigning for Kabami. But right after she made that nasty comment to those people in the audience who shouted out, Jesus Christ is Lord, because they were against the abortion that she peddles. Okay, and then she went in on them and told them that they're at the wrong place. Remember that? Remember that? I couldn't find the church. Hold on, let's play this one because I can't find the one where she got booed at church. But I'll look for it when I have more time. But you all remember I showed you this morning how she was at that church and she all of a sudden had a Philly accent. Okay, please pay attention. Kabami is so fake and fraud. Okay, at least we know who Trump. Who the hell is she?
But joy cometh in the morning. The weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. The path may seem hard, the work may seem heavy, but joy cometh in the morning, and church morning is on its way.
Hey, I'm sorry, but who was that? Kamala Luther King Jr.? Is that who that was? Kamala Luther King Jr.? She needs to sit down somewhere. This is all hilarious. This is all hilarious. I absolutely cannot. Did y'all hear that? Battle X says she changed her voice again. Yes. Okay. Eric said, why is she talking with a southern drawl? How do you have to ask her? Oh, hell no, said, this is all nefarious. I don't know what is wrong with her. Okay? Oh, hell no, said the old Negro spiritual. The old Negro spiritual voice. Nita's and Mike's World said now she's a pork chop passer. Miss J says she's a whole sideshow. She absolutely is. Okay, this is all so sad and clearly pathetic. Okay, please pay attention. With that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I love you all to life. I want to thank everybody for tuning in once again. And listen, if you missed the morning broadcast about Diddy bursting chakras with his nefarious self, okay, please go back and watch that video because I did a full breakdown. I know you got the gist of it in the TikTok that I showed, but it's more thorough information and also something else that you should listen to, this pastor, what he was saying about hip hop and all of that. So go back and watch that video if you missed it. Listen, I love you all to life. I hope you enjoy the rest of this night, and I will see you all in the morning with more information. So each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
With that gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. That's See right. A bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got